Says live.
All right. So yes, we are live here with Adrian Wesley, and we are very excited. I know that many of you have seen our posts and videos of Adrian, and we're very excited that he is here with us. So if you're tuning in live, make sure you leave us a comment below. And of course, if you're watching the replay after, I know life is so busy, but definitely leave us a comment as well. So for those of you that don't know, Adrian is a clinical hypnotherapist, an optimization coach, a speaker, a motivator, and the list could just keep going. So we are very excited to bring him to you guys today live. And Adrian, I'll let you start things off here.
Awesome. Super excited to be here. And yeah, I specialize in human optimization, and my mission in life is to make self-love go viral and to facilitate the awakening of other people's personal power. So I love these opportunities to get out and talk to everybody and share some of my information with you. Would you like me just to get started, or?
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, definitely start sharing the things that you had mentioned. Yeah. What did you say? The 13 things you've learned.
Yeah, I just decided, do something different on this webinar for you guys and share with everybody, your audience, the most important things I've learned in my life. So I thought I'd just go through those, and then it touches on a lot of the work that I do with my clients and stuff as well.
That sounds amazing.
Yay. So the number one thing I wanted to share with your audience is that we are energy beings having a human experience. And quantum physics is starting to prove this now. I don't know that I could tell you for sure I know exactly what's happening, and I don't know that we will ever know until we're on the other side. But this is what makes sense to me, and this is what has been appearing in my life. And what's really important to understand about that point is that if you are an energy being, which you are giving off energy and light, that energy has a vibration, and that vibration has a frequency, and that frequency connects you to things that you actually want in your life. And the best way I could describe it, it's almost as if you tap into a new frequency and your whole reality changes, and the things that appear in your life change. And where there were once doors, there are now where there were once walls. Becomes doorways and windows that you can make your way through. So my first message to your audience is, remember that the most important thing you need to focus on every day is your vibration and your frequency and what you're communicating out to the universe. It's absolutely the most important thing. So if you're tight and heavy and stressed, that means that that's in your frequency. And that means that that's what you're going to be getting more of back in your life. And this is actually the biggest challenge that most people have, is that you really have to exist in the state that you wish to receive. So most people are sitting there stressed and tense and having negative thoughts about why won't the money come, and can I make enough money, and I'm stressed about money. And then they wonder why that reality just continues to appear. It's because you are creating that reality for yourself based on that frequency. So that's my first message. And what I'd like to do is just...
When did you learn that in your life? Like, what was your experience that hit you in the face, I guess, that you
I'd say
believed it?
Well, I read the Celestian Prophecy, and I'm 45, so I'm a fucking old guy now. And oops, I swore. Sorry, I can't hold myself back. But I think anybody that comes to listen to me is used to me swearing. And you guys wouldn't have me on here if you didn't think I was going to swear. But I read the Celestian Prophecy, and in that book, it talks about plants giving off energy and how we can communicate with plants and all of that stuff. And didn't really understand it. And then I hit my lowest point of my life in Grand Cayman, the first lowest point of my life, and started meditating and started connecting to what I call source energy. And then started listening to Abraham Hicks, and then the rest is history. Abraham Hicks is my greatest mentor. I haven't spent a cent on her, and she's changed my life. And I will be spending money on her to go on one of her cruises, but she motivates me to do the Power On movement because she supplies the world with so much free content. So if you haven't checked out Abraham Hicks, I highly recommend you check that lady out. She's totally changed my life, and I started living her principles, and they work.
Wow.
So yeah, and what I'll do also is I'll go through the list, and then at the end of it, anybody can ask questions, or you guys could ask questions, or you could ask me questions right after I say the point, like you just did.
Sorry.
No. What I mean is keep doing that. That's perfect.
Okay.
I'll mention the topic, and then you can ask a question if you want to, and then we can answer questions at the end. I think that's perfect.
Okay.
The next comment I have for everybody is it's very, very clear to me that we have one life and we have one chance. This isn't a dress rehearsal. And when you turn 45, you realize how much of your life is gone. And I also realize how much of my life is ahead of me, because I'm going to live till I'm 150 and plus. But even if I was to live for another 40 years, I've had an incredible life. But the point is you don't get a redo. And I think the biggest thing that people will have is when they turn 80 years old or 85 and they haven't created who they truly are, and the regret. And that's something that fuels me every day, is not living with that regret, or not getting to a point in my life where I regret the fact that I didn't take the opportunity to create who I truly am. It truly is one life, one chance.
Well, I'm realizing too, like, the power that you have within yourself. Like, instead of just being like, oh, well, I missed out on that. No, like, it doesn't matter what point in the timeline you're at. Taking advantage of the time that you do have in the moment to moment, right, is so powerful. And it's so good to spread that message too, because I was in a spot for sure where I was like, oh, well, you know, like, I'm past those days. I have kids now. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. And then I had this mind shift and realized, actually, no, I can. And it's the perfect time to do it, right? So that's awesome.
Well, you bring up a really important point, and I think we all need to understand that in the capitalist system, we have been educated to take our power away, because they want us to become consumers and corporate slaves, and asleep, taking their drugs, unhealthy. The best way to create a consumer is to take their power away and make them think that they're not enough. And then you will for sure be looking towards external things to make you happy. Yeah. But what I liked about what you said is you're not being a victim, because you are manifesting absolutely everything that's coming into your life. And that should be fucking exciting, not scary. And that shouldn't be anything to make you upset about. That's incredible. That means that the only person blocking you from what you want in your life is you. And that means that you can spend the time and the energy on yourself and fix the problems and set yourself free, but you don't have some government red tape, or you don't need a degree or a master's degree. You don't need to apply to get the job. You have everything you need inside of you. So I'm excited for you that you've created that shift, my friend, because it's all inside of you, and the only person holding you back is you.
Love it.
So number 3 is, it ties into the one life, one chance, is that this show can end in any second. And I think that's the biggest tragedy that's going on in North America right now, is everybody's living asleep in the dream and not really awake and not really being themselves, but they're also living a life as if retirement is fucking guaranteed, and it's not. 6,300 people died last hour. 6,300 people died the hour before. 6,300 people approximately die every hour around the world. People go to sleep and they don't wake up. And some people, the negative people, the people that are vibrating on a low frequency, say to me, well, that's depressing. And I say, no, that's an awakening. That's a wake-up call. That means that you have to make today's to be the best day of your life. And that's how I lived my life. I saw my mom die. I saw lots of people die in my life. And you realize that nothing's guaranteed. I had a buddy of mine loading his kids into the car. He didn't take care of his health and dropped dead of a massive heart attack at 30. So it can happen at any time, and that's not to scare you. That's to wake you up and to realize that there's no time to waste, and you have to make the day ahead of you the best day that you can.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I like that you touched on that everyone has this, and we're, you know, since we're young, meant to think when we retire, that's when we get to live. Work really hard. And if you're not working hard enough, you know, you're not going to get to live the life that you really deserve. And we're all sitting here waiting, thinking, okay, when I'm 55, and that would be freaking retiring early, actually, 55, 65, heck, 75, and your body likely is done. And your options are limited, and especially I mean, even financially these days, like, don't wait. The time is now. And I say, don't live like there's no tomorrow, because I want there to be a tomorrow and I want it to be good too. But there's a balance to both. And I think that's where a lot of people in this world are struggling, is that it's one extreme or the other.
Well, I think the Dalai Lama, I think it was the Dalai Lama said it really well. He's like, I don't understand you North Americans or whatever, the people in the developed world. He said, you live your whole life doing a job that you hate, saving money for retirement, but you compromise your health doing that job. And then when you get to retirement, you spend all your money on your health, and you realize when you're on your deathbed that you never actually lived your life. And it's tragic. And I like what you said about don't act like, I'm not one of these people to think that you need to go in debt and load up your credit cards and act like tomorrow's not coming, because I'm living my life. I'm taking care of my body like I'm going to live for a very long time. But that's a different energy behind waiting to live. That's the problem in North American society too, is this deferred happiness. I will be happy when I retire. Well, you won't, because you're going to be regretting the fact that you didn't light yourself on fire when you were younger. So, the show can end at any second, and you have to respect and honor that. And you have to wake up to the fact that we are not immortal. We are mortals. And the show can end at any moment. And that's why every day when I wake up and I have my lungs breathing and I have my heart beating and I can see and I can walk, I have everything I need to be happy. And I just choose to have the best day of my life. And I say, thank you for my life. And it's changed my life living like that.
The next, you truly, you're not just a guy that speaks all this stuff and tells other people what to do. You embody this. You live it every day. And I know, we've never met face to face, but I do follow your journeys and your experiences, and what you see is what you get, right? So it's easy to spew a lot of the good shit, but not live it yourself. And you really do that, and your happiness really shines through. And that's why I guess I'm drawn to listening to what you have to share all the time.
Cool. I really appreciate that. And I think part of the other reason why you might be drawn to me is because I come out and talk about my insecurities and my anxieties and the different things I've been through. I'm real. But I for sure am very, very happy. And I for sure have made peace with my PTSD and my generalized anxiety. And I really, really urge everybody listening to this, because the information I'm sharing with you is changing my clients' lives, and it'll change your life too if you give it a chance. The next thing I have on the list is, it does include a swear word, but as you've already concluded, that's part of who I am. Honor your temple or you are fucked. And I mean that. I said it like that. I wrote it down like that on purpose, because I can't tell you how many people, you go walk around downtown Calgary right now and you go look in the corporate offices at lunchtime, and the dudes have these massive bellies. Not everybody, but these massive bellies like they're pregnant, bags under the eyes. Everybody looks stressed out. And it's just silly. It doesn't make any sense. You've got this big, massive house, this big car. You're not happy. You're in debt. You're prisoner to the bank, and you're not alive, and you're compromising your health to save money. It's insanity, because if you don't have your health, you don't have anything. So my biggest message to everybody is nothing matters unless you take care of your health. And if you are sewering yourself by drinking alcohol and getting pissed on Friday night, doing drugs and eating shitty foods, you are giving off a bad vibration to the universe, and that just changes your frequency, and that just attracts back to you more of what you don't want. So my biggest message, loud and clear, is you need to go to bed every night at 10 o'clock, 9:30. You need to not have stimulants. You need to wake up in the morning and do some meditation. You need to exercise. You need to stretch, and you need to stay hydrated, and you need to use food for fuel, not food for drugs and emotion. So you have to honor your temple. Everybody else listening to this right now, if you're not taking care of yourself, you need to really, really, really take a look at what's going on, because if you don't have your health, it doesn't matter if there's a Lamborghini in the driveway. The Lamborghini is not going to come see you in the hospital. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen a hearse with a U-Haul behind it. You just don't take the stuff with you to the grave. So take care of your body, take care of your health, or you're missing out on the whole show, in my opinion.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. So at what point in your life, Adrian, did you cut out alcohol? Because I know that's such a huge thing in, well, at any age, actually. It's something that we're so conditioned that is something luxurious, something that makes you better, something that actually heightens your creativity. And that's just inaccurate, I guess. And so when is it, if like you drank at one point, did you?
Oh, I used to be a bartender. I used to do, I don't know, 20 shots a night and sewer myself more than anybody on this planet. But that's not true because I never had an alcohol problem. But it's been at least 3 years since I haven't had alcohol. I had one night a little while ago where I had some and I was reminded why I don't. I want everybody to understand that when you watch a movie, you are under a state of hypnosis, or when you watch the news, or when you watch a series, you're under a state of waking hypnosis. Everything is programming your subconscious mind. And the alcohol companies and the cigarette companies, they fund the movies. And you've seen alcohol so many times in movies that it's programmed your subconscious mind to believe it's a normal part of you. How many movies have we seen or shows have we seen where the couple sits down on a Friday night and has a glass of wine to relax and hang out? Well, if that was chocolate pudding on a Friday night and that was what was embedded in the programming, everybody would be sitting down on Friday nights on a date having chocolate pudding. That's how programmable we are. And the biggest message I can tell you to everybody out there, if you have depression or anxiety, you need to run from that fucking substance. I will not work with clients that continually drink alcohol and don't want to change. That's how bad it is, because you can't move them to the next place because you are stuck in a place of perpetual unhappiness and low-grade mood. And what happens with alcohol is that you don't see how toxic it is because you just get used to having it in your system all the time, and you get used to being low grade. It's a depressant. It's a neurotoxin. There are spiritual people that call it spirits because when you go to the bar or you drink alcohol, they say your soul and your spirit leaves you and negative entities enter you. And I don't know about you guys, but I've never seen anything positive come out of it. I've seen people kill each other on the road. I've seen accidents, fights. I've seen people cheating on each other. I've seen married people do things they wouldn't normally do with other opposite sex, even if it's flirting, when they're drunk. And it is a depressant. It will keep you in a constant state of a depression. The other problem with alcohol is it's pure fucking sugar. And type 2 diabetes is a massive problem. So you have a glass of wine, you are spiking your blood glucose, crashing your insulin, and then it makes a mess of the whole system. So you got me onto a subject I wasn't prepared to talk about, but as you can tell, I'm pretty passionate about it. If you need to do something, smoke some weed. Stay away from alcohol, stay away from hard drugs, use plant medicines, mushrooms, ayahuasca, I don't know, but marijuana is something much better to use if you need an evening of relaxation. And all you need to do is compare what people do when they're drunk and compare what people do when you smoke some weed. Because you smoke some weed with some people and you sit there and talk about the fucking stars and philosophy, and alcohol people are throwing up and beating each other up. You got me off. You got me off, but I'm telling everybody, if you want to turn your power on and you want to let your flower bloom, that booze won't get you anywhere.
Well, and this is something that I've really experienced, obviously being pregnant, not drinking, but my spouse also has gone completely sober as well. And we've decided that moving forward, we're going to be completely sober, no alcohol. And because we've just found a different connection with each other, a different connection with ourselves. Our life is flourishing in different ways than what it used to. And we really do believe that alcohol was this blocker. It blocked out so many things for us, opportunities, experiences, feelings, that we were just too afraid to approach head on. And so, but having this clarity now and being sober has really, it's made our life flourish in so many different ways. And we're really excited to continue the journey of being alcohol free. It's going to be different because summertime hits and it's a habit that we all get used to, right? Where, go camping or go down to the river and have some drinks. But now we're forced to experience those same kind of things in a different way, in a different light. And so that's exciting. So I love how you're super passionate about this because it's something that I've experienced firsthand.
Well, and just one other quick thing I'll add is that when I lived in Grand Cayman, sitting on an island looking back at North America, I had this vision one day, or this thought one day, that if aliens were looking down on humans, they would be like, what the fuck is this species doing? Like, Babies swimming in chlorine bathtubs, we call pools, where your largest organ is your skin, and it absorbs everything into it. And we swim around in chlorine. I'm sure they're going, what the fuck is, and they're drinking that stuff. And then I'm sure they're looking at us with drinking alcohol and going, what's the matter with these humans? Why are they drinking this substance that is a neurotoxin and causing so many problems? And I need to repeat to everybody, I see a massive difference in the money they bring in and how happy they feel when they cut that stuff out. The last thing I want to say on alcohol is that I'd say 95% of people aren't happy. If you want to do something different with your life, you've got to stop doing what everybody else is doing, because what everybody else is doing isn't fucking working. And on Friday night, if you want to be an entrepreneur, you can't be out with your friends getting sewered at the bar. You need to be at home meditating or creating your business and moving yourself forward to another direction. I don't know about you guys, but I'm tired of being spit on by some drunk person talking to me about the same bullshit conversations that all drunk people have. So that's my last pitch on no alcohol.
Love it.
So I'll go on to the next topic and I appreciate that came up actually, because it's a massive issue in this society and it just doesn't make any sense to me you need to do things that raise your vibration. And you need to stop doing the things that lower your vibration. And what other things do we do in our time how many times do you do something over and over again if it makes you feel sick? That's what blows me away about alcohol. If you went to a Chinese restaurant and had a dinner and it made you throw up and made you sick, I don't think you'd be going back to that restaurant to keep eating that food, would you? But that's what we do with alcohol. So anyway, my alcohol thing is done. Become a non-drinker and see your life flourish. Yeah. The next thing on my point is probably the most important thing I can share with your audience. It's the cornerstone to the work that I do, is that the conversations you're having with yourself are always going to determine the quality of your life. So your mind is listening to you, your mind is taking orders from you, and you are creating based on a thought. Everything you see in your room is created by a thought. And majority of the people listening to this call spend the majority of their day having non-productive, negative thoughts that invite into their life more things that they don't want to have. So your job is to become aware of the thoughts you're having. And I call this becoming the good coach, and noticing weak, negative thoughts and switching them to the powerful, positive opposite is one of the techniques. But you need to get in control of what you're thinking. The quality of your life is always going to be based on the conversations you're having with yourself.
Oh, I absolutely love that. And it's something I'm in a mentorship right now where we're working through that kind of stuff and catching ourselves with the old programming, that, the old system of how we used to talk to ourselves. And it's crazy to me how I had no idea I was even talking to myself in this way. And when you bring that to light, you all of a sudden take back your control, because then you can say, no, wait, I do not believe in that. This is what it is. And then you reprogram to something else, which is, creating a different energy within your life. And it's so, so powerful.
Well, and I think the other thing to add to that, everybody, is when you are in your subconscious mind is your belief system. And what is a belief? A belief is a thought habitually. So you can change the beliefs in your subconscious mind by thinking certain thoughts. So if you tell yourself every time you have a negative thought, you first say to yourself, I love you. Well, you're probably going to be catching yourself having 30 to 40, 50, 60 negative thoughts in a day. So you've told yourself you love you 50, 60 times. That dumps down into your subconscious mind when you go to sleep, and it starts reprogramming your subconscious mind. And the other thing that happens when you switch weak negative thoughts to the powerful positive opposite is that you create new neuronal firings. New neurons connect with each other when you say something new. And if you repeat that over and over, you create a neuronal cluster. And that means that your brain starts firing on positive thoughts more automatically. So I call it the mind gym. So you want to realize that you're in the mind gym. You're in the mind gym right now, changing your conversations. But I want you to understand you're creating new, more powerful neuronal clusters with those positive thoughts. And what happens is they start firing automatically now. It's super, super powerful.
Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people think that when they hear that it's just a bunch of kooky bullshit. And it's actually science. Like, it's a proven thing, whether you believe in the universe, God, whatever, like it doesn't matter. The proof is in the pudding. See, pudding again. There we go. It's a proven thing. So it is just like anything. You work the muscles in your body because you want to work towards, a goal. If you have a goal of being more positive, go to the mind gym. Exactly. And I love that. And it's something that sounds very like easy, and it's the most difficult thing ever. It's very hard.
The reason it's difficult is because you have faulty beliefs. And when you have faulty beliefs, they are the culprit. That's like, I call them ants, automatic negative thoughts. So if you have faulty beliefs in your subconscious mind, I want you to imagine they're like a machine gun firing up these thoughts into your subconscious mind. But if you work with a hypnotherapist, you change the faulty beliefs, those thoughts stop. But the other thing that you talked about is when you talk about this kind of stuff in the 80s, everybody was talking about positive movement and being positive. That's not what I'm fucking talking about. I'm not talking about turning everything into roses. I'm talking about changing and improving the conversation that you're having with yourself. And all high performance athletes and all high performance entrepreneurs understand this and get this, because you are always constantly every day going to be faced with contrast and things that make you uncomfortable. And it's all about how you talk yourself out of it into a more powerful position. So it's not just about having airy-fairy positive thoughts about everything. It's about improving the conversation you have with yourself. And that might include nurturing your inner child.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the next point is your perception creates 100% of your reality. And your thoughts create your perception. That blew my mind when I discovered that sitting in a meditation. That is supremely powerful. Your perception creates 100% of your reality. So that means the glasses that you wear, how you perceive what's going on in your life and what's happening to you, creates your reality. So you are in control of your perception, which means you are in control of the movie that you see every day. And that is super powerful.
Yeah.
And I know this is something that I think a lot of it's out there on the internet on, motivational sites and everything, is that, now I've lost my thought. Did it mute me?
It happens to me too, buddy.
Whatever. Any kind of those motivational things that you see is, no, my thought is gone.
No problem. Happens to me too, but it'll come back. I
can hear my kids in the background. See, I need to go to the mental gym or something here.
No, it's easily to get distracted, buddy. I do that too. And if it comes up again, just mention it to me and we'll address it. So the next thing I have on my list is that the mind is always listening to you, and the mind is creating what you tell it. And when I went to hypnotherapy school and they taught me this, I went into that school being a lifetime professional worrier. And when I heard them tell me that, it was like, holy fuck, my whole life changed. You're telling me that my mind is listening to what I've been thinking and it's creating what I tell it. So I want your audience to understand that when you type into a keyboard, those keys create code, and the code tells the computer what to create. That's exactly what your thoughts are doing. And you're having thousands of thoughts all day. So that's why it's very important to get in control of what you're thinking, because you're programming your supercomputer. For example, I can't tell you how many people I meet that say I can't meditate. Well, if you fucking keep saying that, you will not be able to meditate. And I can't do this. Well, your mind is listening to you and your mind is creating it for you. So you better start saying meditation is easy for me. Letting go is easy for me. And this is a whole new way of thinking. But remember that your mind is listening to you and your mind is creating what you tell it.
Mm-hmm. How did you get started in meditation? What was your first experience? Like, did you go to a class? Did you know somebody?
Yoga. Oh. So I started doing yoga, and my first yoga class, I laid on my back, and I had a really good teacher, because in North America, yoga has been bastardized. It's been turned into an athletic exercise where you're supposed to achieve, and not many people are teaching the breathing and the shavasana part of it. And it's become more of a calisthenics and show everybody else how long you can hold the pose and power yoga and all that. But shavasana, laying on my back and letting go. So I was someone that was addicted to thinking. And what I would share with your audience also right now is that the greatest addiction of our time is thinking. And that's what's incredible about meditating properly. And what I share with everybody is you want to learn to meditate, to go to the place of no thought. Again, I hear a lot of people in North America doing meditations where they're visualizing and creating. And that's great, but it's not truly what the Buddhists do. And it's not truly what the real meditators do. Is they go to the place of no thought and they stop the conscious mind from solving problems and thinking. So it was yoga. And then it just came out of necessity to free myself from anxiety. And then the real proof is in the pudding, because once you really learn how to let go and you see how it feels when you come out of that, it's incredible. There's no better way. What happens when you go into a half an hour trance is it balances your brain waves. And when your brain waves are balanced, it leads to optimized neural communication. And when you have optimized neural communication, you have positive thoughts. And when you have unbalanced brain waves, you have negative thoughts. So the other thing that's very important about meditation is that you let go of the conscious mind and you connect to source energy. You become the energy that you wish to receive in your life. So it's why it's important to let go twice a day if you can, 3 times a day. You change your energy. And the word of the day is definitely fucking pudding, because I did not mean to interject it into that one. But for sure, you need to start meditating. That's how I got into meditating. Yeah, 100%.
I just wanted to touch on that I took just a brief 1-session class on meditation, and they said, yeah, a lot of people think visualize, focus your mind, and it's actually the opposite. They said we are so conditioned that multitasking is what we should be working towards. And actually, we should be doing the opposite. Meditation is zero tasking, is how she explained it. And I guess to me, someone who prior to this wasn't in touch with anything spiritually, anything like that with mindset, that really spoke to me. That when I hear it that way, it's just very logical. And yeah, zero tasking is way, way harder than multitasking. And it's a skill just like anything else. And I'm trying to build mine.
Well, the biggest tip I can give you on that is when I tell my clients when I first do a first session with clients, putting them into trance. And that's why I call the session Letting Go. That's why my business in Vancouver is called Letting Go Hypno, because when you let go and when you stop struggling, you float. And the biggest thing I can tell you is that most people have been addicted to thinking. And it all started in grade 1 when they started us solving problems. And then in grade 2, you start solving problems. So your whole education system is designed to keep you in your conscious mind solving problems. If we had been doing art and singing and creating music for half the day, we would not all be addicted to thinking. And the one thing I can tell you right now, the biggest reason why people have a problem letting go is they don't feel safe and they don't feel like they are being enough and doing enough. So what you have to do is you have to tell yourself before you go into meditation, I am being enough, I am doing enough, I am safe, it's okay to take a break. Because most people are staying up, waking up in the middle of the night thinking, because they don't feel like they are safe and they don't feel like they are doing enough and being enough. So you have to learn to let go. And what happens when you let go? Clarity for me, just all the answers. Like yesterday, I let go. I was floating in the ocean and I let go and I did some yoga. And then I went back to pick up my girlfriend and I got off my bike after a 15-minute scooter ride. And I sat on my iPhone and everything I'm telling you today just went. It took me literally fucking 60 seconds to spew it all out. And that's what happens when you get into flow state and you start letting go. It's not supposed to be complicated. It's not supposed to be hard work to extract this creative information from ourselves.
Well, and something I learned, so I took a yoga teacher training. I have my 200 hour under my belt. And something that we focused on heavily was an exercise that taught us, because a lot of people are very physical. They learn that way. And so what we did was we were taught to do a body scan. So you're starting with one part of your body and you're working your way up the body. And as you're working your way up, you're letting go of what you were just focusing on, which then we translate into thoughts. So as a thought passes by while you're meditating, you acknowledge it, you acknowledge the feeling, but then you let it go. And it really creates this understanding that we are not our thoughts. We have thousands and thousands of thoughts every single day. And if we're constantly being attached to those and not willing to let them go, like think about how anxiety, stress, all that kind of stuff can be built up, right? But learning how to let that go and say, oh, I'm not that thought, and watch it drift off and allow another thought to come in and have that same process. You get better and better and quicker at letting go and getting into that flow state that you were talking about.
Uh-oh, no volume.
Oh,
I can't hear her. Oh, but I heard it. I heard most of it.
oh, okay. Whoops.
I can hear you. Yeah.
You can hear me now? Okay.
Cool. Still can't hear. No.
No, okay.
I can hear you, Alex.
Weird. But that's okay. If everybody else can hear, I can't hear though, unfortunately.
Okay, let's see. No, I'll let you continue there and we'll figure it out.
Cool. The other thing I wanted to share with your audience is your job is to come home to yourself and to identify your faulty beliefs and reprogram them in your subconscious. 95% of your mind is subconscious. It holds your belief system. And I want everybody to understand that the conscious mind is like a laptop and the subconscious mind is like a supercomputer. And if you don't reprogram those faulty beliefs, you're going to be having a very difficult life and you're going to be swimming upstream. So you have to get the help from a hypnotherapist and you have to identify your faulty beliefs and you have to reprogram them. It won't change. Things won't change until you change the main beliefs. The beliefs are what are governing your life. So.
Okay, Alex, I'm going to take you off and re-add you, okay?
Okay.
And I'll let Adrian continue.
Okay.
Because some people can't hear you.
Okay. Hello.
Okay. Maybe that's working. Adrian, can you hear her now?
I can't see her. She's not on my screen.
How about now?
There she is. Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, there's a delay, but I can hear her. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
So the next thing I have on my list is live now and live now in all ways. Eckhart Tolle, everybody's heard about his book, but people don't really understand what that means. And what that means is that you're allowed to book some appointments for the future in the daytime. But other than that, you're living your life moment by moment, breath by breath, day by day. And what I discovered when I used to suffer from generalized anxiety is that if you live in the now, your anxiety goes away. There are no predators in the now. So it's super, super powerful. But again, you've been taught to become addicted to thinking and you've been taught to be out of your subconscious mind. So living in the now is something also that's going to take a lot of practice, but it's absolutely the most powerful thing you can do to change your state of existence, other than changing the thoughts you're having with yourself, is to live in the now. Ram Dass says, be here now. And what I'd say is get out of your fucking head and get back into your life, because you're living your whole life in stories in your head and you're missing out on all the gold that's right in front of you.
Mm-hmm. And I know that some people hear that and think of like, oh, live in the now, you know, be a hippie, just go with the flow. It doesn't mean don't live your life with intention and don't go after the things that you want. It means that you're not consumed by them, that you know what you want and you don't need to constantly think about it. You know, you embody it and you do go with the flow, but your flow will be towards what you want. And I know some people hear that and think like, okay, so just be lazy and just be in the moment. Well, no, it doesn't mean that. Still set your intentions. But I know that's something I struggled with. I'm like, how would I get anything done? How am I going anywhere if I'm not thinking, planning, doing, learning something? And yes, I do those things, but I have taken such a huge step back from being consumed by where I'm going instead of living where I am. And that's been huge for me.
Yeah. And I would say living in the now actually is the opposite of not doing anything. Living in the now is actually living. It's being present. It's not sitting here. So what most people would be doing right now, listening to this broadcast, is that they would be thinking about their something going on in the background, or they would be thinking about something they need to do later, and you're not fully present. And what happens when you're not fully present is that you're not giving all your focus and your attention to what you're doing. So you're actually not as effective and productive of what you're doing in the now. Living in the now has nothing to do with being lazy and not fucking living a life. It's smart. It's what hockey players do. It's what athletes do when they're in flow state. They are in the now. You will not find Wayne Gretzky skating down the rink to go score a puck thinking about lunch tomorrow. He's completely in the now. And the magic is in the now, and there's no predators in the now. All of your troubles are coming from stories in your head, and you need to learn to live your life focusing on moment by moment, breath by breath. The next thing I have on my list is that everything you seek is within you. You're going to go without, or you're going to go within. And if you go without, you really do go without. And that's the epidemic. That's the problem in North America and the developed world, is everybody's going towards external things to make them happy. My bigger house, my bigger car, my clothes, my vacations, all of this stuff is going to create happiness and create the love and the abundance I want in my life. And my biggest message to everybody is everything you seek is within you. And you don't need to look anywhere else. You have everything you need. And all you need to do is remember, when you were born into this world, you were born a magical creator. And you got contaminated with programming from your parents and school. But you can change that programming. And you need to start going within. And I call it letting go, meditating. You need to go within. You need to connect with the love and all of the creativity and all of the abundance that's inside of you.
I couldn't agree more. I completely agree.
Cool. The next thing on my list is you need to start commanding the universe. So a lot of people are living passive lives, just acting as if everything's happening to them, but it's not. You're creating. So I told you already, one of the tips is to change the conversations you're having with yourself. But another main tip that I would recommend is to start commanding your universe. So the most powerful statement that I have in my life right now that I command my universe with every day, and I got it from Abraham Hicks, is that everything is always working out for me. And I say to myself that statement all the time throughout the day. Everything is always working out for me. And it's the master blaster affirmation. It covers absolutely everything in your life. And if you hold the belief system that everything is always working out for you, everything's always going to fucking work out for you. And the reason things aren't working out for you is because a lot of people hold the belief that things aren't going to work out for them. And then they wonder why things don't work out. You are creating a reality based on your belief system. And the best way to start changing that is to start commanding the universe. So every day when I wake up, I choose to have the best day of my life. I am inviting and attracting new clients into my life. I am an extremely successful clinical hypnotherapist, human optimization coach, and public speaker. I am perfectly healthy. Good things are happening to me, and everything is always working out for me. I say those 5 or 6 things to the universe 3 or 4 times a day, every day. And they have been the cornerstone of my success. So I highly recommend that everybody starts commanding the universe.
Mm-hmm. And I love that. And I'll put the link in this after we're done on the live here. But I'll put the link to the Power on Movement page, because anyone that is, I guess, wanting to embody what you just said and implement it in their life. I love your weekly power on boost, you call it, and you do give everyone like that kind of affirmation for a month, right? To say consistently.
30-day mindset challenge.
Yeah. And it's a very powerful thing. Also doing it with a community of people who are all trying to better themselves. So I'll put a link to that if that's something anyone's interested in, diving more into.
Amazing. And the last thing I have on my list, I mean, I could have kept going and going, but we're at 45 minutes, so it's a good time to come to the end of the list, is I am not enough is the most common faulty belief plaguing this planet right now. And that's because the powers that be that created the capitalist system, they want you to believe that you're not enough, because if you're not enough, you don't believe you're worthy. And then you don't go and do the entrepreneurial things you need to do, and you go and buy clothes. Women get this the worst. And I've spoken to branders that they try to make women feel like they're not enough. So you need the bigger boobs, you need the new eyelashes, you need the colored hair, you need the clothes, because you're the underlying message to all of this is that you are not enough the way you are. And it is the main faulty belief that is holding all online marketers back that I know from doing what they need to do with their business, because essentially at the core of their belief system, they don't believe that they're enough. And that leads to believing that you're not worthy and deserving. And if you don't believe you're enough and you don't believe you're worthy and deserving, you're going to continue to turn off the tap of all the abundance that you want to flow into your life. You're not going to do the go lives and the videos like you would or should, because you're questioning yourself. So I do the 30-day mindset challenge on the Power On Boost, and I invite everybody to join me. It's on Sundays and Monday, depending on where you are in the world. But I'm telling everybody on this call right now, for 30 days, repeat to yourself, do my 30-day I am enough challenge. Every day, as much as you can, say to yourself, I am enough. I am enough. I am enough. If you're having insecurity with your boyfriend or your girlfriend, tell yourself, I am enough. I am enough. If you're questioning yourself with your business, I am enough. If you start to believe that you are more than enough, your life will change and the magic will start to appear in your life. But much of your stress is coming from the fact that you don't believe you're enough. So I wanted to end off with saying that that's the primary faulty belief that is causing all the problems, and it stems into everything else in your life. It corrupts who you attract and the partners you have, because if you believe you're not enough and you're not worthy, you will attract a romantic relationship that just confirms that for you. So my biggest message to everybody in your audience is you are more than enough. You have something very special inside of you that needs to come out, and that's what's going to change this world. You need to be the change you wish to see, and you need to let your unique fucking flower bloom. Everybody needs to let their flower bloom. You will not see a flower bed. You will not see flowers in a flower bed looking at each other going, well, his color is a little brighter than mine. Maybe I better adapt to be the same color as him. No, flowers just become flowers. And that's why if you're suffering right now on this call, it's because you're not letting the real you shine. You're holding yourself in prison. So you need to let yourself out of that prison. You're more than enough, and you are worthy and deserving of everything you desire in your life.
Absolutely.
Love it.
Yeah, that was a great way to end that whole thing, because it really does tie into everything else, right? Like you were saying, it can affect that one simple thing. It really is so simple, but for a lot of people, it's so hard. It's something I struggled with for a really long time. But once I started, letting go of what I thought I had to be for everybody else and just allowed myself to be, my whole life changed. So I love that you ended it with that.
Well, and I'm going to add one more other thing, is that that's why my mission is to make self-love go viral. If you want to change your life right now, everybody, you need to learn how to love yourself. You need to forgive yourself. You need to forgive others. You need to release anger and resentment, and you need to let the real you shine. And my biggest advice is don't go to your family. Don't go telling them about what you're going to do, because they can be some of the biggest dream crushers, because they're used to seeing you the way you used to be. But if you really want to find happiness in your life, you got to love yourself. And if you love yourself, you let yourself be the real you. Part of the reason why we attracted so many people onto the Power On movement organically is because I'm bald-headed, bearded beast, swearing and being myself. And before I started doing my videos, I was all worried about what was going to happen, or I was worried because my family was worried. Oh my God, Adrian, you're swearing. People are not going to use you for your service. And what ends up happening is I've attracted people that like me and are attracted to that same vibration. And now I have client sessions with clients that swear, and they're much better because I'm being myself. And I'll end off by saying this. If you want to wear a fucking unicorn hat and create a Facebook group, I can almost guarantee you will find thousands of other people that will join a group to wear a unicorn hat with you. And the biggest problem you're having as an online marketer is that you're trying to be like everybody else, and everybody's tired of that. Be authentic, be the real you, let yourself shine. You have one life and one chance as this avatar. So do not get to become an old person and fucking regret the fact that you never let yourself really be yourself. That's why everybody's suffering, because they're not letting themselves be themselves. But that's why you need to learn to love yourself.
Yes.
Absolutely. And I love it. And that's exactly what Alex and I have in, our intention behind this was to show, I guess you could say, like, we're no one special. We are stay-at-home moms who decided to step into our power and do something that we wanted to do. I guess I think I'm pretty freaking special now because I'm doing the things I want to do without being worried about what anyone thinks of me but myself. And I know a lot of people think, Mandy, what are you doing online? Or Alex, what is this business that you run? You know what it is? It's me stepping into my power and growing myself and sharing that with other people. And never in a million years would you, if you had told me I'm doing this tonight with you, Adrian, I would have said, laughed you out of the room. And look now. Yeah. So anyone can literally do anything they put their mind to. As cliche as that sounds, it's just the truth.
And it all really starts with self-love. And if you want to be in a healthy relationship with somebody else, you have to fill your own cup up first. You have to love yourself. We can't truly fully love other people unless we know how to love ourselves. And life can become incredible once you forgive yourself and once you stop beating yourself up. The majority of people that are watching this, I know because I deal with lots of people. The majority of people are having shitty conversations with themselves, being hard on themselves. And you really just need to learn how to forgive yourself, be authentic, be real, and play. That's the last thing I want to tell to everybody is that I read science facts the other day that the speed of light would take 15, I got to get it out to tell you guys. It's something like 15 trillion years to the end of the fucking universe. Like the universe that we know of is so massive. Like we live for just a blip. Don't take everything so seriously. And again, what I say at the beginning, have you ever seen a fucking hearse with a U-Haul trailer behind it? You can't take the shit with you. And no one gives a fuck when you're dead anyway. And everybody's so worried about creating a legacy and creating all of this stuff for themselves. But when you're fucking dead, you don't know that people know about you. So just fucking live your life and have some fun and stop being so serious about shit. And that doesn't mean go spending money recklessly, because that's not loving yourself. Because loving yourself is creating safety for yourself, and loving yourself is having cash in a savings account so you can feed yourself. But what I'm talking about is don't take everything so heavy. Fucking let it go. Relax. Enjoy your life.
I love it. And I just want to ask, if someone wanted to, get in touch with you and have a session with you, how would they go about doing that?
Awesome. I appreciate you asking. So right now I have something called Team Fully Optimized. I only work with people that join the 1-year program. I have a full client list, but sometimes people drop out of the program. So then I fill them in with other people. I'm starting another Team Fully Optimized in January of 2020. So I highly recommend that you get a hold of me if you want to work with me. And even if you have to wait until January of 2020, I'm the best at what I do, and we will change your life, and it's worth the fucking wait. It's www.vancouvercityhypnotherapy.com. Vancouvercityhypnotherapy.com. If you scroll down, you'll see I've got the most testimonials of any hypnotherapist on this planet for a reason. And it's worth the wait. So I invite everybody to come work with me. And if it's not me, find somebody else, because if you're not reprogramming your subconscious mind, you're missing out on your main power, 100%.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And we will put we'll put a link to your website here in the comments. And I know I'm hoping to connect with you. And I know you even have a wait list for certain things as well. And definitely we will be putting your information out there. And thank you very, very much for being here tonight with us.
Oh, yeah.
Super awesome to be here talking to your crowd. And my message to you and everybody else is just keep being you. Keep moving forward. Gradualism is probably one of the most important parts of my life, is that small steps leading in a different direction. Small steps every day will lead to a huge bell curve of changes. Yes. And you really just got to keep moving forward, and you'll be surprised the doors that open up for you and the people that you meet. Because just like you said, you never thought you'd be sitting here interviewing me 2 years ago if someone asked you that. Well, what are you going to be doing a year from now if you keep going?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Amazing things. That's the plan.
Yeah. And you are doing amazing things because you're interviewing me.
Yeah, that's correct.
What I want to point out by what I was talking about there and me saying that is self-love. It's not coming from ego. It's valuing who I am. I fucking worked hard all my life to be here today. It's not coming from ego. It's coming from self-appreciation and self-love. And that's where everybody needs to get to. It's a totally different energy than I'm the man. Totally. So anyway, Love you guys. Thank you so much for having me, and wish you all the best with your businesses, and just keep going. Turn your power on. Love yourself. Do the things daily that raise your vibration, and life will become magic.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Adrian.
Amazing. Thank you,
See you
Adrian.
guys.
Everyone,
Thanks for having me. Love you guys. Send you lots of love. Take care.
Below to join the Power On movement, which is honestly wonderful. If you need more positivity in your feed, please, go join that page. And someone did post the website there for us, so that is perfect.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Have a great evening, guys.
Good
Take
night,
care.
everyone. Bye-bye. Awesome.